arm. This is a story that happened to me about 14 years ago in my hometown. First of all, let me say that I do not have any religious belief in God or Buddha. The high school I went to was a famous Buddhist high school, and it had a close relationship with a high-class temple, but the priests there drove expensive cars and lived a lavish life. I guess they thought from the time they were kids that it was just a tool to make money. I was also repulsed by the devout believers who, when in trouble, turned to God and didn't try to act on their own. I still think that way, and I don't want to change it, but I don't know if what happened to me at that time was just a coincidence or if it had something to do with it. I leave the decision to you. Sorry for the long preface. Let me cut to the chase. That was when I was a sophomore in high school, so it was the year 2000. The year 2000. The characters were my cousins who were the same age as me. We lived one train stop away from each other and went to the same high school. We used to stay over and play together a lot. I don't have any proof of this story now, so I'll leave it up to you to decide if you believe me or not. One night during summer vacation, the time was around midnight. I was playing Live Alive on the SNES. I was playing the SF version of Behemoth and my heart was racing, when suddenly my cell phone rang. I said, "Don't call me at this hour. What's wrong with you, you busybody?" I told my cousin over the phone what was going on. "Cousin, you're the only one playing SNES nowadays. I don't care what you do, but something's wrong. Please." No, I thought it was completely impossible. It would take me an hour to get there by bicycle, there were bikers along the national highway in the middle of the night, I was desperate to get mugged, and most of all, I was already sleepy and tired. I said, "Sorry, I'm sleepy and I have a part-time job tomorrow morning." My cousin is a really nice guy, and he usually believes me even when I lie about things like this. But this time he was clearly different. He said, "I'll call the cab company and have them take you to the post office in front of your house. I'll pay for it, of course. Also, take a day off from your part-time job. I'll pay for it." I knew something bad had happened when my cousin, who was a tightwad and had a good sense of economics, said something I didn't expect. Did he get into a fight with some thugs in the brothel? Did a Yankee have an eye on you? I said, "What happened? I'll wait to hear if I'm going or not." "Cousin, I took your picture in my room the other day, didn't I? It's weird. There's something weird in the picture. I'm too scared to sleep. Come quick. It's not every day that this guy whines to me." I said, "Do you think there's something ghostly in the picture?" "Cousin, there's no ghost in the picture." I said, "What? What do you mean?" "Cousin, your right arm is so thick. It's black. This is not your arm." I laughed when I heard that. I laughed. I said, "Is that a shadow or something?" "Cousin, you were making a peace with the window on the south side of my room. Do you know what this means?" A shiver ran down my spine. I usually don't pay attention to this, but there is a temple on the south side of my cousin's house. And my cousin's room is on the second floor, overlooking the cemetery inside the temple. Me, did I take that picture at night? My cousin, "Oh. Your back window is completely dark. It's not a shadow or anything. It's too thick. Too black." I said, "I'm on my way." I got into the cab my cousin had arranged a while later. I had been feeling chills down my spine the whole time, but I took my Buddhist high school notebook with me and kept chanting the Heart Sutra in my mind to distract myself. When I arrived home and went to my room, I found my cousin also staring at the student handbook and mumbling the Heart Sutra, which made me laugh. My cousin was furious, but when I pulled the notebook out of my pocket and showed it to him, he laughed too. I guess we are related by blood. I quickly cut to the chase. I said, "So? You got the picture?" "Cousin, here." There I was, facing the instant camera, right elbow bent at a 90-degree angle, doing a peace pose. And my cousin was right. My elbow to wrist is thicker than my shoulder to elbow. And it was black with a deep purple tint. I said, "What is this? This picture is impossible." "What?" My cousin I froze when I saw it too. Me, "Hey, did you check the data?" "Cousin, that's the thing, I wanted to check there, but I was too scared to do it alone. It's on my desk under the jump." I threw down the jump and looked at the negative, and my hands started shaking. There was a white hand holding my arm. In the developed photo, it was just black and thick. In the data, it's that plus a white hand grabbing my arm. We both shuddered when we saw that. I was shaking so hard. I have a bug on my arm in the picture, and my cousin has a bug in a picture taken in his room. We're not strangers to each other, you know. I ended up playing Tomb Raider on the PlayStation until the morning, a game that many people know is a classic, and I didn't sleep a wink. Every time I made a mistake, my cousin would look at my right arm. I got so pissed off that I got in the habit of staring out the south window. So in such an acrimonious mood, maybe 6:30 in the morning? My cousin's mother. Well, my aunt came into the room. And then things started going the way they always do. She asked me if I had done my summer homework and if I had told my parents I was here. Then, my cousin started talking. My cousin said, "Look at this picture. Does that temple have some kind of legend?" I'll summarize what my aunt told me. First, the town where we were born and grew up was burned down by Oda Nobunaga a long time ago, and many people died regretfully. Second, the temple in question was spared from being burned down, but its name means that a holy man goes to meet the departed. My theory from the above 2 points is that the spirits who could not attain Buddhahood were gathering at this temple during the summer Obon season, and that they were agitated by my peace pose with a stupid face and started messing around with me. My aunt said it was a very light thing to say, but it was nothing fancy. I told her it was no laughing matter, and she told me to go to the temple to have an exorcism, so I poured the breakfast she made me down my throat and my cousin and I went to the temple. I visited the temple where our grandfather's grave was located and talked to the head priest about it. Then the priest said, "This bad guy has caught you again. If you keep this up, they'll take it away." I said, "What? What will they take away? Is it life?" The priest, "No, your arm, your arm. It's just as you see it. The white hand in the picture. He says he wants your arm." I said, "Can't you do something about it? I'd like to ask for an exorcism or something." The priest said, "I'd like to do something about it, but we can't perform exorcisms this time of year. On the contrary, we have to welcome them in. However, if we don't do something about it, your brother will be in danger. Please wait there for a moment." I could feel my body sweat going cold. Because the monk in front of me said without hesitation that he was going to take my arm. I realized that when you're in the middle of something like this, even if you don't have any evidence to the contrary, you're going to be shaking to the point of death. Then the priest came back, but he seemed to have made a phone call somewhere. The priest said, "Are you free today, brother? I've made an appointment, so if you have time, please listen to what I have to say. I'll let you know if he can perform the exorcism or not." I said, "I'm free. I'll be there right away. Where should I go?" The priest said, "Go there. You know where it is, don't you?" The place the priest told me to go was a shrine near my school. It was once burnt to ashes by Oda Nobunaga, but Hideyoshi was very enthusiastic about its restoration. The head priest told us that it is a shrine with a long history, famous for its ability to ward off demons and misfortune. I got on the back of my cousin's bike. My cousin had not slept a wink in the summer heat, but he was pedaling up the steep uphill toward the shrine. I went into the precincts of the temple and told various people what had happened, and was able to meet up with the person who had been contacted by the head priest. After I showed the person the photo, the words that came back to me were quite cruel. weren't they? Let's call this person Mr. Okita. Okita, I will perform an exorcism. However, this is a little bit too much. Moreover, this is the time of year for this land. And the location of the waterfront is close by. It's bad timing. I was quite puzzled by Mr. Okita's weak statement. I said, "What do you mean?" "I'll try to exorcise it, but just in case." Okita: "Yes, that's right. It would be extremely difficult to exorcise. The nuance is to suppress it, isn't it? In the extreme, some kind of calamity is inevitable. But I think we can do something to minimize it." I said, "Can't you do something about that?" I usually professed to be a non-denominational, non-believer, but at that time, I wanted to put my faith in something. But Mr. Okita's mouth didn't say the words of salvation I was seeking, did it? "Okita, the best thing would be to leave this land. But you are still a student, right? Then stay away from the lake as much as possible until you graduate. I recommend that you leave the prefecture after high school. This white hand comes from the lake." No, wait a minute, Okita-san. There's a huge lake in my hometown. It's impossible. That's what I thought from the bottom of my heart. I mean, I can identify my hometown if I tell you this much. After that, the photos were burned in an exorcism ceremony. After that, the photos and negatives were incinerated in an exorcism ceremony, and we went back home. Well, that was around the beginning of August, and after that, I went about my day-to-day life, and by the time the Obon season had passed, I had already forgotten about it. I can't believe I forgot about it after only 2 weeks. I really am an idiot. I'll start from the conclusion, late August. My right arm. Or more precisely, from my right elbow to my wrist. It's all messed up. A major surgery with 8 wires. The arm I saw on the operating table. It was as thick and swollen and blue-black as the picture, and it made me cry. I started having strange dreams around Obon. I hear a woman's laughter. A high-pitched laugh that sounds like a scream. Then suddenly I couldn't move my body, but you know that feeling you get when you ride a roller coaster and you get scared and you can't move your chest. That feeling. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster and I hear a woman laughing. But when I wake up, I forget about it. And when I go back to sleep, it's the same dream. It's only in the dream that I realize, oh, not again. Oh, not again. Then one day in late August, I was riding a borrowed moped on a big road near a lake with my friend. Then all of a sudden, you know? It was only about 40 kilometers per hour, but I suddenly felt like I was on a roller coaster, and then the sound of a woman's laughter echoed in my head. It was so loud. This was the first time I recognized what I had seen in my dream in reality, and now I'm near a lake. Something bad is about to happen. All sorts of thoughts were swirling around in my head in an instant. I thought of Okita-san's face and regretted so much. My conclusion was to hold the brake of the bike and stop the car. I was running alongside a car on the left and there was a motorcycle behind me, so I couldn't stop. I was thinking, oh, but the woman's laugh is so loud and scary, damn it, when all of a sudden the moment came. With a snap. The helmet fastener suddenly came off, and I was wearing the helmet on my face, not on my head. I had zero visibility. The red signal went off in my head. By the time I quickly tried to remove the helmet with my left hand, it was already too late. I found myself lying in front of the bus stop, covered in blood. When you bleed a lot, you get a sandstorm in front of your eyes and your vision gets blurry. And I had an extra joint in my right arm, so I was still feeling the roller coaster and hearing the woman laughing. I passed out there, and when I came to, I was at home. Surgery is first thing tomorrow morning. I thought I wouldn't be able to sleep because of the pain, but from that day on, the roller coaster and the woman's laughter stopped, and I was able to sleep like I never thought I would. Later, Cher told me about it. I was driving behind her that day, and we were driving with a good distance between us. A red minicar was driving diagonally in front of her, and it suddenly turned into a bus stop on the left side of the road without putting on its blinker. She thought she was going to run into the car, so she braked and stopped just in time, and was relieved when I ran into her moped with no brake. I was soaked in blood. The priest at that time was right, he took my right arm with him. A lot of things happened, but I don't know if this accident was just a coincidence or if it was caused by that picture. As a side note, my cousin has since bought curtains for his room so he doesn't have to look out the window at night. I was able to get my right arm back after over a year of rehabilitation. I shudder to think if I had not gone to the exorcism that time, my arm might have been shredded. This concludes this story. Thank you for listening to the end.